Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Wednesday. It's the 3rd of June 2020. We're going to look at all the races here on opening day from Belmont, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me this Saturday for my 2000 and 1000 Guineas preview from Newmarket. Also Saturday, my Carter Handicap preview here from Belmont. I also think it's the Santa Anita Derby this weekend, but those two other races I think are a lot better races, and I think you can make some money with them. But it's finally opening day here at Belmont, and it's basically the first sport here in New York City that's going back to work. There's no baseball, there's no soccer, no football, nothing, hockey, basketball. So it's good to be good to be home, like they say. I've been looking at all these races from all across the world, but it's when you have races finally in your backyard, it's finally good. And of course, I spruced up for the occasion, got a nice haircut, and you don't know how hard it is to get a haircut right now in New York City. You had to pull, I had to call certain people, but we got it done. So we're going to look at almost all the races today, except race number 3, the 2-year-old race. Very tough race, and I just wouldn't feel confident giving out a selection of that race, but we'll look at the other 9. Let's get to it. Race number 1 from the opener from Belmont. It's a maiden claiming race, purse $28,000, race for maidens 3-year-olds and upwards, going for a claim price of $20,000. Large fields today. This one we have 11 horses heading to the gate. The distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on Big Sandy. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs, main track. And I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down the notes. Just bear with me. My top selection here, we're going to go with the number 8 horse, the 8 horse who is State of Mind. I'm going to go 8-2-5-6 in the superfecta. 8-2-5-6 super. Top selection 8 horse State of Mind. 4-year-old gelded by Mineshaft. Michelle Nevin trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 1st February at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs and maiden 20, and he finished 4th by 6.25 lengths there. And he didn't have the best beginnings. Was very wide, and I think he really just had a bit of a trouble trip. He's coming here off the break. He's been training well. I'm going to give him another shot, because 2 back I thought he ran a decent race at Aqueduct, 6.5 furlongs January the 5th, and maiden 20. He finished 2nd by 3 lengths there, and he just stalked all the way around the race course. He just couldn't get quick enough to his best ability, but I thought that was a decent race. And then before that, Aqueduct on a sloppy but harrow track, 6 furlongs maiden 20. He finished 3rd by 7 lengths. Was with him early on, but then he kind of hit the wall late. The winner just ran that better race and won next start out. And then before that, Laurel, 6 furlongs maiden 25. First start off of a 6-month plus break. He finished 3rd by 6.25 lengths there, and he was very wide, and I think he needed the race off the break. But coming here, drawn well, he's a little versatile. It looks like he's set the pace where he can come from a stalking position. Stalking wouldn't be half bad. 8-1. Let's use him. Multi-race scenario. The pick 5 begins with this race. I think the 2-horse Cobble Hills, or your wise guy horse, his last 3 were horrible, but his first 3 were decent races at Gulfstream and Saratoga. If he run that Gulfstream race, that Saratoga race that he ran last August, I think he could win. But if he runs that race he ran last time out here at Belmont, he's not going to win. But at 5-1, let's give him a shot also on the multi-race scenario. But to recap my selection for the first from Belmont, let's take the 8-horse State of Mind. We'll go 8-2-5-6 in the superfecta. Let's go 8-2 to start off the multi-races. Let's get to race number. Who would have thought the first grass race of the year in New York would be at Belmont? But, this year is just not normal. But the second race, the first grass race of the year here in New York, it's this Turtle Allowance race, purse $45,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards, never start for a claim price $50,000 or less, or it's never won 2 races here. We have a field of 12 horses entered, but we're going to go over this quickly. 3-horse main track only, the 5-horse main track only, 7-horse main track only, the 12-horse main track only. So we'll be down to a field of I think 8 horses now, going 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Widener turf course. 1,600, 1 mile, Widener turf course. And the rail, I believe, is out at 9 feet, so it's just barely out, but it's fresh turf course, so it doesn't really matter. And plus, it's not so wide out where there's going to be a disadvantage to some kind of horse. But the top selection here, I'm going to go with the 1-horse Mandate. I'll go 1-2-4-8 in the superfecta. 1-2-4-8 super. Top selection 1-horse Mandate, and my God, we've been mandated a lot here in here in New York the last few days and weeks. But the Stereo Colt by Blame. Tom Fletcher trains. John Velasquez gets the mount. And there's that classic combination, John Velasquez and Todd Fletcher. But the horse's most recent outing came in South Florida at Gulfstream, May the 8th, about 7.5 furlongs, an optional 50, and he finished 5th by 3/4 length there, and he he sat back early. He had a great turn of foot late. He was gaining ground on that very tight turf course. Coming here, if he runs the same kind of race, this turf course can play towards closers. I think he could run a massive race. Two back in main 40 at Gulfstream, 1 mile, March 25th. Stepping down the loads class was the right thing. He won by 3. He stalked. He got the lead, and then he held on to a very nice victory. 77 Bayer. That was respectable race. And then the 8th of February he started before at Gulfstream, mile and 8th in main special weight 43,000, when the rare two-turn mile and 8th races at Gulfstream, they hard on dirt, but he moved a little bit late, but he finished 4th by 16 quarter lengths, and I don't know if he liked the kickback, and also Gulfstream is a very speed favoring track. I think in my personal opinion, my people might disagree with me on that, but I don't care. I think it is speed favoring dirt. But before that, his turf race at Gulfstream wasn't bad, and his turf race at Aqueduct wasn't half bad. His turf numbers are superior higher to his dirt number. He trains better on turf, I think. At 3-1, I think he has a live chance of winning, so we'll use him. The 2 are Smiling Brian, I think, is your next likeliest winner. 2 back in his turf debut, he absolutely ran a massive race, just missing the win, but he was stupid wide. That would probably cost him. He's run well on dirt also, but I like him coming to turf at 2-1. Like I said, very likely winner there also. But to recap my selections for the second from Belmont, let's go with the 1-horse Mandate. We'll go 1, 2, 4, 8 in the superfecta, 1, 2 in the multi-race. Now this third race, the 2-year-old race, first 2-year-old race of the year here in New York, we're not going to give a selection on this race. If you're going to play the multi-race, I would all it, because it just looks so wide open. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Fauci basically wins by a mile here, to tell you the truth, just looking at it very quickly. But looking at it quickly, the 1, 2, and 3 look like the livest horses, but this is an all race, I think, in the pick 5, pick 4, whatever you decide to play. So we're going to head over now to race number 4, a very wide open race. Race 4 from Belmont, claiming race purse $27,000, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 16 horses entered, but only 14 could go. The distance of ground here of 1,300 meters again, or the distance of ground is 6.5 furlongs on the Belmont main track, 6.5 furlongs. And this race looks very wide open. As a top selection here, we're going to go with the 3-horse Business Cycle. We'll go 3, 6, 5, 13 in the superfecta. 3, 6, 5, 13 super. Multi-race scenario, 3, 6, 5 are a must-use, I think. But the top selection will be the 3-horse Business Cycle. 7-year-old gelding by Curlin. Gary Gullo trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 13th of March at Aqueduct. Good main track, 1 mile claiming 10. He finished second by 3/4 length, and he was making it interesting late. He was very wide. He was closing up well. He ran a good race. 90 cents to the dollar, he should have won, but he ran a good race. 2 back at Aqueduct, 1 mile claiming 8, stepping down to loads of class from his previous races over the last summer and fall. But he finished second by a half length that day. I thought he should have won. He was stalked. He had the lead. He got caught by Mills late, who went next start out. But what can you do? He just couldn't keep the momentum late. And then before that, claiming 8 at Aqueduct, 1 mile, January 31st, he that day he finished second by 14 3/4 lengths. And the winner, Where's Rudy, just ran a stupidly good race. This horse is very wide, and I think that cost his chances. And then before that, claiming 8 at Aqueduct on the slot, going 3/4. He finished 5th by 9 lengths and was never really showing up. But the 6.5 coming here to Belmont, where he had his last victory back in October over the trip of ground, winning by 1/4 very easily. I'm going to give him another shot here. Multi-race scenario, the second likeliest winner, I think, is the 6-horse Stonebreaker for Mike Leslie and Bruce Levine. 4-year-old gelding here by Escandrea. Another horse stepping down loads of class. Most recently ran in claiming 25,000 at Aqueduct for state breds, and where he ran absolutely crap, but he didn't break that well, which cost me. He had a little bit of trouble trip early on, but before that I thought he ran a decent 3rd place finish at the Finger Lakes, and then his races last spring in New York at Aqueduct in winter weren't bad races. He actually had a winning streak of his first 3. Something must have happened after that where he kind of fell off the map. But coming here, he's been training well at Laurel. At 12-1, I'll give him a shot. And the 5-horse Gaultier, for the jockey who is, I wrote his name down because I had to look up his name, but Talbot Howell gets the mount on this one. This horse, he's been running these decent races. Not been winning, but he's been running these decent races. But he's due for a victory, I think. If he could run, like that 40-year race here today, I think he could win. I know it's a massive step in class, but this is the kind of race that seems random on paper. I know I'm definitely going to do a small place show on him, but I'll definitely use him as an insurance play on this pick 6 or pick 4, pick 5, whatever side to play. Also, he's some nice workouts recently, but 30-1, he doesn't look half bad. Like I said, his races at 40 or even at Woodbine on the lawn haven't been half bad run. So, like I said, use him there. But to recap my selection for the 4th from Belmont. Let's take 3-horse Business Cycle. We'll go 36513 in the superfecta, 365 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 5th event now. Race 5 from Belmont, main special weight purse $53,000. Races for Phillies Mayors, 3-year-olds and upwards, state breds here. 16 horses entered, 13 is also eligible, 14 through 16 are MTOs. So a dozen will head to the inner turf course for the first time this year, going the distance of ground at 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the lawn. Again, the first turf sprint of the year here in New York also. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs, inner turf. The rail, I believe, on this course might be at 9 feet also, so they're both at 9 on the turfs. But the top selection, we're going to go to the rail, to the 1-horse Stronger Than You Know. I'm going to go 112, 10, 9 in the superfecta, 112, 10, 9 super. Top selection, 1-horse Stronger Than You Know. 3-year-old filly by Mineshaft. Irad Ortiz Jr. comes in for the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 13th of September here at Belmont. 6 furlongs on the inner and main special weight 62,000. He finished second by 4.5 lengths, and he was with them early on, seeing some stupidly fast fractions. He couldn't keep the momentum late. The winner just ran that better race, but he ran a good race. Off the break here, he'll be very fresh, and I think the key with him will be how far can they take the speed. 2 back in the Colleen and Monmouth, going 5/8 on the turf. He finished third by 4 3/4 lengths, but he was placed second through disqualification because he got basically interfered with in the stretch. Probably would have won that day, I thought, but he got interfered with. It took him off balance. I think it was the right call. Like I said, I thought he ran a good race up until that point. And then before that, here at Belmont on the dirt last season, 5 furlongs, main special weight 62,000. He finished 5th by 9 3/4 lengths. He was with him early on, but then he just never quickened up. And I think he needed the race for the experience. But coming here to turf, his turf races aren't half bad. He has the speed to win. Let's use him. Your second likeliest winner, I think, also is the 12-horse Crescent Lady. Belmont trains this one. John Velasquez gets the mount. He's coming from a route to a sprint. Most recently at a mile, especially at Saratoga, going a mile, you don't want to be drawn wide, and he was 12 of 12. He never really got into it, but before that, he was stalking off of going a mile at Belmont, where he ran a 3rd place finish, where he didn't run half bad. And before that, his debut at Belmont wasn't half bad. Cut back to 6. I'll give him a shot at 4-1 also on the multis. I'm probably going to do a double with race 4 and 5, so I'll go use the 3-horse I'm using in the multi-race with race 4, and race 5 I'm going to go 2 deep. I'm going to use the 1 and 12 in that double. But to recount my selection now for the 5th from Belmont, let's take the 1-horse Stronger Than You Know. We'll go 112, 10, 9 in the superfecta, 112 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 6th. Race number 6 from Belmont, an allowance race per $66,000. Race for fillies, mayors, 3-year-olds, and upwards. Never won $10,000 other than a maiden claiming starter or state bred allowance race, which never won 2 races here. We have a field of 15 horses entered, but keep in mind we have a few MTOs here. The 9 horses are MTO, and the 13 through 15 are MTOs. So they're going the distance of ground on the Widener turf course of 1,700 meters, or 1 mile and 1/16 on that lawn. 1 mile, 1/16 here. The top selection, we're going to go with the number 5 horse here, Zanik, or I believe that's how you say it. I'm going to go 5-3-1-8 in the superfecta, 5-3-1-8 super. Top selection, 5 horse, Zanik. 4-year-old Felipe Into the Mischief. Tom Morley trains. Junior Alvarado gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 10th of October at Keelan. 1 mile allowance race, 65,000. He finished 4th by 2.5 lengths, and I thought he ran a decent race. He just couldn't quicken up to his full potential, but against some very tough horses, he got around the race course well. Keep in mind the 1-2 of that race both won next start out, but not a bad race. Before that, here at Belmont on the inner, mile 16th, September 11th at Optional 80, he finished 4th by 2 lengths there, and he just again couldn't quicken up. Was a little bit wide, but again, I've seen worse races. His race definitely 2 before that was a lot worse, and even before then, the risk averse of Saratoga on a yielding good to soft turf course, 1 mile in the inner there, he finished 3rd by 1.5 lengths. Again, couldn't quicken up to the full potential, but he ran a good race against some very tough competition. But before that, here at Saratoga, mile 16th on July the 14th, an obsolete claimer. He ran crap. He finished 9th by 6.5 lengths, and he had absolutely nothing. The winner of Ranko, won next start out along with Catch a Bid, just ran terrific races. This horse just couldn't keep up with those very, very tough competition. And then before that, here at Belmont, a mile 16th and an inner and a Star Lounge race 50,000. He won by a half length, stalking, getting the lead. Even though he was a little bit wide, he still ran a terrific race. And even before that, at Belmont, going 1 mile on the Widener on a good soft yielding turf course, he won by 4.5, stalking, getting the lead. He took off clear. If he stalks on this turf course, I think will be very good. He's drawn very well. Junior Alvarado knows the horse the best. I think all of his races when he's on, he gets good Beyer numbers. 8-1, let's use him here. Multi-race scenario, and your next likeliest winner is the 3-horse Medita. I rather teases on this one for Arnold Delacour. His 2 races in America, he's subpar. He went a little subpar last one, but his debut at Saratoga wasn't half bad. He's facing a lot tougher competition in Germany. But coming here, 7-2, I think he could also win, so we'll use him on the multis. But to recap my selections now for the 6 from Belmont, let's take the 5-horse Zenique as a top selection. We'll go 5-3-1-8 in the superfecta, 5-3 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 7th. Race number 7 from Belmont's maiden claiming race, purse $33,000, race for maidens, 3-year-olds and upwards, New York breds here. We have a field of 16 horses entered, but 15, 16 are also eligible, so only 14 could go. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters, the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs, main track. The top selection here, we're going to go to the rail to the 1-horse Apex Predator. We'll go 1-3-4-10 in the superfecta, 1-3 410 Super, top selection, 1-horse Apex Predator, 4-year-old colt by Tail of the Cat. Dylan Davis gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 6th of March at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, main special weight 60,000, and he finished 5th by 9 lengths there, and he's very wide, and he just never could really get a good run. It wasn't his day to win. His Aqueduct races are a little subpar. He does better here at Belmont, I think. Before that at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, main special weight 60,000. He finished 4th by 6 1/4 lengths there, and just had nothing. Again, he never quickened up, never kind of weakened out of it. But again, he should have did a lot better there. And then before that, main 25 at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, January 11th. He finished 2nd by 4.5 lengths. And against lesser competition, I thought he got around the race course well, a little bit wide. But I've seen worse races from him. Definitely the race before, and the main 25 was worse on the slop, or on the mud, where he finished 9th by 34 lengths. But if the track shows up sloppy, has any bit of moisture in it today, I take the source off the ticket, because all those races are subpar. But when he runs on a good, on a faster main track, he does a lot better. But like I said, his race here at Belmont, he started here 3 times. They're not bad runs. His worst race was on the slop last May, but he actually won here back in October. How can you say he won if he's still in the main divisions? He won because, and then he got disqualified because he was coming in on the 2nd place finisher, hurting a little bit. But he still ran a terrific race on the front end. And then before that, he finished 5th here, where again he ran a decent race. But coming here, Dylan Davis up. He has the speed from the inside. Let's take a shot at 8-1. The 3-horse Dayati is also a very likely winner. Most recently at Aqueduct back in March, he ran a decent 3rd place finish. He's definitely going to improve off that. He's been training well. We'll use him also on the multis. And I also think another likeliest winner is the 4-horse Bronze Lion at 10-1 for Steve Asmussen. Again, with every single race, he's been getting better. Again, let's use him on the multis. A very wide open 7th event from Belmont. So to recap the selection for the 7th race, we'll use the 1-horse Apex Predator. We'll go 1-3-4-10 in the superfecta, 1-3-4 in the multi-race. Let's get to race number 8 now. Another very Race number 8 from Belmont's allowance optional claimer per $68,000. Race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won $10,000 twice. And main claiming starter or state-bred allowance race, which never won 3 races, claiming price of $6,250. We have a field of, 16 horses entered. But keep in mind, the 6-horse is a main track only. The 8-horse is a main track only. 13 through 16 also main track only. They're going to the Widener turf course again. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on that Widener turf. 1 mile here. And the top selection is very good quality horse race here. Top selection, I like the 5-horse Arthur Kitt. We'll go 5-12-10-7 in the superfecta. 5-12-10-7 super. Top selection of 5-horse Arthur Kitt. For a colt by Camelot, Christophe Clement trains. Joel Rosario gets them out with the Camelot on top, with basically, and the Montague, who's the sire of Camelot. This horse probably wants 1.5 miles at the minimum, but coming here to a mile, it shouldn't be a problem. His most recent outing at Goldstream, I thought he ran decently on the 23rd of April, 1 mile in the 8th, and out 6-2 claimer, finished 2nd by 1/4 lengths, and he was really mowing them down late, a little bit wide, but he ran a terrific race in his second start, first start for Christophe Clement, second start in North America, or excuse me, third start in North America. Before then, the Nijinsky at Woodbine, 1.5 miles, July 28th, he finished 6th by 7/4 lengths there, and he had nothing, very quick turnaround. He just couldn't stay on that turf course. And then before then, the Group 3 Hampton Court at Royal Ascot, a mile and a quarter. He finished 6 by 4 to quarter lengths, and he didn't break all that well. He just never quickened up. The winner, Sagittarius, just ran that better race, or Sagittarius. But before that, he ran a novice race at Leicester over the mile and a half, finishing second by a neck, where I thought he ran a terrific race. But then the Chester Vase, which is Derby Trial at Chester, he couldn't keep up because he didn't have a lot of, he just couldn't quicken up late. And then before that, in the Derby Trial at Epsom, going the mile and a quarter, he finished fifth by 10 lengths, and he basically lost all chance at the beginning and never could really recover after that, especially his 2-1 favorite. But his Tyrrell campaign wasn't half bad. He actually finished fourth in the Brews Cup Juvenile Turf at Churchill. He ran in the Royal Lodge at Newmarket, where he finished fifth decently, and then he placed behind Too Darn Hot in the Solario at Sandown. Too Darn Hot's a very, very good horse, but I like him back to a mile trip. Joel Rosario, very patient rider. This turf course can play towards closers. At 8-1, let's use him on the multi-race, and also as a top selection. The 12 horse also, who I think the distance might be a little bit too short also for him, but he has a chance on paper. The 12 horse Cross Border, most recently nearly won the McKnight handicap at Goldstream, going a mile and a half, where he just nearly got to Spooky Channel, or actually got caught by Spooky Channel. But he still ran a terrific race. Before that, though, in the Fort Lauderdale, he just couldn't keep up, but he actually won at Aqueduct very nicely. Another horse, I'll give him a shot at 4-1 on the multi-race. And while we're here, the 10 horse value proposition, his only subpar race was here at Belmont on the inner turf course in the Pennine Ridge, but this race is not nearly as tough as it is today, and I'll give him a shot also at 7-2. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Belmont, let's take the 5 horse Arthur Kitt. We'll go 5, 12, 10, 7 in the superfecta, 5, 12, 10 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 9th race. The 9th race from Belmont's feature of the afternoon, it's the Beaugay Stakes, Grade 3, purse $100,000, race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, with a distance of ground of a mile and 1/16 on the inner turf course. 1,700 meters, a mile 1/16 inner turf. You have the return of some quality fillies here and mares. The return of Rushing Fall, got Stormy. Even, I don't think Xenophobia is not a bad horse either. With that being said, I'm going to take the 1 horse Rushing Fall as the top selection. I'll go 1-3-5-2 in the superfecta, 1-3-5-2 super, top selection, and a single in the multi-race. I think you have to make a stand in this race. Single going with the 1 horse Rushing Fall. 5-year-old mare by More Than Ready. Chad Brown trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 5th of October at Keeneland. 1 mile in the First Lady Handicapper Stakes. Grade 1 event. She finished 4th by 5 3/4 lengths, and they changed the tactics up from her races in 2019. 2019, she was basically on the front end of most of those races, but in the First Lady, they took her back because she was drawn very wide, and she was wide throughout, and she just couldn't keep the momentum late. Uni ran a terrific race, and then actually won the Bridge Cup mile after that, but, this horse was just drawn a little bit too wide. But coming here to her backyard, to Belmont, where she loves running, I think she'll get back to her winning race. Before then, the Diana Stakes at Saratoga, a mile and 1/8 inner turf course. She finished second by 1 3/4 lengths, and she stalked. She had a lead, but Sister Charlie closed up from nowhere, getting to her, but she still ran a terrific race. And then before then, the Just a Game at Belmont, 1 mile, June the 8th. She won by 2 1/4 lengths, and she was on the front end all throughout. At 70 cents a dollar, she was supposed to win it, and she won quite nicely. Keep in mind that the format of that race has been very nice. The next 2 winners, the second and third place finishers, both won next start out. And then before then, the Jenny Wiley at Keeneland going a mile 16. She won by length again on the front and all throughout. A very easy run, but she has the speed to win. Also, she come from behind, going a mile 16th here at Belmont, the inner turf course. Basically routing in marathons on the inner turf course. Speed really holds up. She's drawn very well for it. She's been training well. 6-5. Let's take her and single her in the multi-race. I wonder what's next for her, because I would love to see this horse run in a mile and a quarter. Maybe do they run her in the New York Stakes later this month here at Aqueduct, or excuse me, at Belmont? We'll have to wait and see. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Belmont, it's the Grade 3 Beaugay. Let's take the 1 horse Rushing Fall. We'll go 1-3-5-2 in the superfecta, single the 1 in the multi-race. Let's get to the opening day nightcap. The nightcap from Belmont, race number 10. It's claiming race purse $27,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won 2 races here. Going for a claim price $16,000. We have a field of 16 horses entered, but only 14 could go. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or halfway around Big Sandy, which is 6 furlongs. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs, main track. The top selection here, we're going to go take the number 7 horse, Justice of War's top selection. We'll go 7146 in the superfecta. 7146 super. Top selection, I'm going to single this horse to end off the card. The 7 horse Justice of War, 4 colt by Strong Mandate. Linda Rice trains. Jose Lascano gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 20th of February at Aqueduct. 6.5 and a claim of 40,000. She finished third by 10 lengths. First against winners. Just really couldn't keep up. It was a little bit wide, and the two in front of him just ran that better race. But coming here to Belmont, I'm going to give her another shot, or him another shot. He's been training well. 2 back at Aqueduct, going 6 furlongs, mean 20,000. He won by 3/4 length, and he stalked. He a little bumping that day, a little bit wide, but he got the job done. Winning by 3/4 length, 73 buyer. Very respectable run. And then Saratoga, 6 furlongs and mean 20. Finished third by 3 3/4 lengths. Again, was very wide that day. Just couldn't quicken up late, but still ran a terrific race. Had a lot of worse races before that. Before that was under the care of Steve Asmussen, running at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs last main special weight, 90,000. Finishing fourth by 11 lengths. She had a horrible trip which cost him, and then before that, going routing, the horse ran absolutely crap. Actually, 2 routing races were bad races, so throw them out. But coming here to a sprinting trip, Linda Rice knows the New York circuit. Let's take this horse at 7-2 and single her to end off the card. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Belmont, let's take as a top selection 7 horse Justice of War. We'll go 7-1-4-6 in the superfecta, single the 7 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck to everybody.